valuable to us. So without further ado, I now request our program coordinator, Mr. Paul Fernandez, to introduce our speaker, Dr. Merle Coutinho, and invite her to start with the session.
Principal Ma'am,
Good day. Good day to you all. I am pleased to introduce Dr. Merle Coutinho, the resource person of today's webinar. Being a homeopathic practitioner for 15 years, she has vast experience of working with people and their concerns. She has enhanced through her experience the knowledge of the beautiful connection of the mind and the body, and likes to impart this to those who want to make better choices in their lives. She went ahead and achieved a diploma degree in counseling in health psychology from St. Xavier's Institute of Counseling Psychology, and then a master's degree in counseling and family therapy from IGNOU. And today, she is going to share with us her insights on parenting, a guiding path for your young adults. Let us all give full attention to Dr. Merle as she shares with us her expertise. Over to you, Dr. Merle.
Thank you, Paul, for the wonderful introduction. Good day to our dignitaries, our faculty members, and you, dear ladies and gentlemen. At the onset, I would like to say thank you for giving me an opportunity to be here and conduct this webinar. And thank you for all of you for making the time out from your schedule and being a part of this journey with me. We all have got an insight through the wonderful presentation that our principal, Dr. Cincy George, has given as to how the college is helping our children to progress academically. And I would like to take you one step forward to make you more aware that they are even taking care to help our children to grow psychologically, emotionally more strong, and we are ready to support them. So today's session is all based on parenting and how we as parents can be a guiding path for our children. Before I begin, for the benefit of all, I would try to sum up in Hindi on and off so that people can understand. And pardon me if there is a repetition in some form. As Deepa ma'am has already said that you can put in your questions in the chat box and we will take up the questions after a few slides. So we begin. This reminds me of a television episode that I was watching with my children. Okay, it was MasterChef Australia. And this episode was airing, the pancake making competition. And this young Indian guy who prepared dosas with green chutney and prune chutney. Okay, so the combination was liked by the judges, and they really appreciated him for that. And something which really struck me was the statement that this boy made. He said, "Thank you, Ma, your recipe worked." And this, I feel, ladies and gentlemen, is something what I wanted to bring forth before you. This, I feel, is what parenting is all about. 10 years, 20 years down the line, your children looking up to you proudly and saying, "Thank you, Mom and Dad, for being there for me, and I am what I am today is because of you." I think we all want this to happen in our life. And as our host for today very rightly said, it is not a day-to-day task. We cannot take it as a task, but it's a learning experience for all of us. As parents also we are learning with children, and as children they too are learning from us. So it should be a memorable event, a memorable journey for we as parents and they as children. But nowadays, the area of concern is that these young children of ours, these young adults, are facing a lot of turmoil in their lives. And why is it so? We too have studied, we too have gone to colleges, we too have interacted, we too have had relationships, but the stress level nowadays is tremendous. And this we can see because there are so many incidences happening all around us. So let us go further and see what are the stressors that our young children or young adults are facing in their life. First and foremost, what I want to share with you is and point out is the family. The family is the primary unit. It's the main area that the child is first learning everything from. And if there are arguments, if there are fights, if there are discords, if there is some kind of unrest in the family, this affects the child directly. Let me give you an example. If there are clashes, ego clashes in the family, for example, a child wants to take up a certain career, but the father feels that no, he has to do something what I feel is right. And most of the times this happens because we come from a culture where we feel that parents know everything. Parents know it all. We know it best. You do not know what's happening. So please listen to me. But what happens is the child is not able to at this age because of many other factors. And he feels that you do not understand him. There is a gap. And that poor child moves ahead in life, which the parent is not aware, with this hate, with this resentment, and there is a lot of trouble that he's going through. This was a small example. This is how family plays a big role in the child's life. The second is education. Learning processes. Sometimes there is a gap between the parental expectation and what the child is capable of doing. Secondly, if the child is not able to concentrate, he cannot understand what is being taught in class, and he is not made to do a particular field, then there is a stress level which builds up in the child. Third is body dysmorphic disorder. This is another thing which is very rampant nowadays, where young adults are preoccupied with their external structure, their beauty. They feel there is some defect somewhere, so they keep looking at themselves in the mirror. Oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. And this enters into their system like a bug. And the anxiety level builds up because they feel they have to be presentable. They have to look nice all the time. They have to be Miss Perfect, Mr. Perfect. Then there is social media, which we are all aware of. And when we say social media, we are more aware. WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all these sort of hover over our children. The likes that they get, the appreciation that they get, even though it's virtual, but it boosts them up. And if they don't get, then there is a tremendous downfall. Peer group, peer pressures. Sometimes the child doesn't fit into a particular group. And to fit into that group, he has to have certain other bad behaviors or certain addictions or going to the wrong path. But he doesn't mind doing that because he wants to be accepted. He wants to be loved into that group. So we have to keep a watch out as to what is affecting our child. And finally, it's relationships, social relationships. If they are secure, if they are stable, It's very good. It gives a very good boost to the child. But if they are not secure, if they are causing a big problem to the child, we need to be aware of it. And why are all these factors affecting that young adult so much? Precisely because this young adult at this age is going through a transitional phase, even in his developmental stages. He's going from an adolescent to an adult. And during this phase, there is a very important thing that goes on within himself, and that is what we call identity. He is trying to form an identity for himself. He's trying to ask himself, who am I as a person? Am I able to make my own decisions? Am I different from my mom and dad? I want to be called Sita. I want to be called Ram. I want to be called Arjun. I do not want to be called Mr. X's or Mrs. Y's son. And this is a very common phase that all the young adults at this point of time go through. So all these reasons and all these factors make things a little more difficult for our children. At this point in this generation, because the external factors are tremendous, the media, the social media, this pull is tremendous, so that poor child is not able to cope up with if he's not getting the support from his parents, in college, from the counselors, then there is a problem that he faces. But every time, this child is not going to come and tell you, Mom and Dad, there is a problem. I want a solution. I am sad, I am depressed because of so and so reason. No, as I mentioned to you, he's into the phase of forming an identity for himself, taking autonomous decisions. I am making a decision. I am good at it. I am making a decision. So he will not present to you like this. Few of them might, if they have already formed a rapport with you. But few of them are not going to come and tell you upfront that I'm having a problem. But they would act out or throw out behavioral changes. There would be aggression, there would be rebelliousness, or to another extreme, there could be a withdrawn behavior that is shown by your child. Now, parents, if you at this point of time are able to pick up that behavioral change and help that child to undo that and solve and resolve that issue, that child is going to be more confident in facing more difficult situations. But most of the times, we are not able to pick that up because we feel, okay, this is just phasic, it's going to change. He's going to be okay. Everyone is going through this. So what is so different? All the teenagers, all the young adults, oh, this is a common thing. So please don't do that. Please be alert as to what your child is going through. Because the child wants that his parents should understand him. Will my parents understand me and protect me and help me get over this? Is the question that child has in his mind. So as parents, can we start thinking differently? Can we say, how will I be able to understand his underlying or her underlying emotions and make him smile once again? I feel this is what parenting is all about, and parenting your child, who is unique and who is different. A small example that I can give so that you can relate to it. An engineering student comes home one day, very depressed, very sad, and the mother opens the door and she looks at his face and says, "Oh, you're looking quite sad. Did you get less marks in your project that you submitted 2 days back?" So that makes the boy angry. Now this boy unfortunately has had an argument with his best friend in college, and that is what is making him upset. He is sad because he didn't want to fight, but it so happened that they got into an argument. So he just flings his bag and he goes into his room. And the mother keeps nagging and saying that, you know, this is the way these young adults or these teenagers or these people in this generation act. They do not want to respect. They don't know to respect. They just throw their bag and they move ahead. Then the father comes along. He goes straight up to the child and says, this is not the way you answer. We are paying so much for your education. Don't we have the right to know what you scored? Don't we have a right to know how you're doing in your exams? So you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens. We are not able to sense or not able to pinpoint what is the underlying factor, what is the underlying issue that the child is going through. And we go on to his behaviors. And if we do not resolve it, again, this is going to be very bad for the child. So if I could sum it up, आजकल हमारे बच्चों में काफी तनाव रहता है. ऐसा क्यों? हम लोगों ने भी पढ़ाई किया है, हम लोग भी कॉलेज जाके फ्रेंड्स बनाए हैं, टाइम पास किया है, पर इतना स्ट्रेस नहीं था. तो अपने बच्चों में इतना स्ट्रेस होने का कारण क्या क्या हो सकता है? पहले तो परिवार में जब भी तनाव होते हैं, जब भी झगड़े होते हैं मम्मी पापा के बीच में या और किसी सदस्य के बीच में, तभी बच्चे के ऊपर असर पड़ता है, बहुत बुरा असर पड़ता है. बच्चा आके आपको बोलेगा नहीं, पर उनके थोड़े बिहेवियर्स में या बर्ताव में परिवर्तन आएंगे. अगर आप समझो वो चेंजेस या वो परिवर्तन पॉइंट आउट कर सकते हैं, तो आप बच्चे को हेल्प कर सकते हैं, पूछ सकते हैं बाबा क्या है प्रॉब्लम, और उनको सॉल्यूशंस दे सकते हैं. दूसरी बात जो है एजुकेशन में, कभी कभार मम्मी पापा के एक्सपेक्टेशंस काफी रहते हैं, बच्चे को ऐसा ऐसा करना चाहिए, पर बच्चे की कैपेबिलिटी नहीं रहती है. बच्चे को समझ में नहीं आता है जो टीचर सिखाती है इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में, तो वो बच्चा क्या करेगा? वो स्ट्रेस में चला जाता है. तीसरी बात जो है सोशल मीडिया. बच्चे हर टाइम फोन पे रहते हैं, व्हाट्सएप, ट्विटर, फेसबुक, इंस्टाग्राम. मुझे और आपको भी समझ में नहीं आता है कभी कभी, पर वो बच्चे को बहुत अच्छी तरह से समझ में आता है. और जब भी उनको लाइक्स नहीं मिलते हैं, तभी वो काफी डिप्रेस्ड हो जाते हैं. तो ये सब कारण हो सकते हैं जो आपके बच्चे को परेशान करता होगा. तो अभी आपको वो परिवर्तन बिहेवियर्स में, बर्ताव में क्या परिवर्तन है, वो अगर समझो आपको मालूम पड़ता है, तो आप बच्चे को हेल्प कर सकते हैं. और आपसे नहीं हो पाता है तो आप कॉलेज में काउंसलर्स रहते हैं, उनके साथ जाके बात कर सकते हैं, पर इग्नोर मत करना. So how do we ensure a support structure for our children, which is the need of the hour right now? Another area that I wanted to touch, since I'm into the medical field, is there are tremendous illnesses which are cropping up in young adults. For example, research has shown a high prevalence of anxiety, depressive, psychiatric disorders are seen in young adults. High rate of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, obesity, thyroid problems, PCODs. Youth having attempted to commit suicides have shown to have an increase in the mental state disorders and a low rational decision-making skills. So you see, the prevalence rate is just going up in all these conditions. What I have examined, or what I have sort of thought over it and come to a conclusion, probably this also could be a reason that the child is given many choices in their life. Right from birth, as a toddler, school going, college going, now into professional colleges, they are being given choices galore. And mind you, with every choice that is in our hand, and we have the freedom to make a decision at times, there is a lot of thinking that has to go. There you have to think about pros and cons. You have to think whether if I do A, Will it be good if I do B? Okay, no. Can I choose C? No, that's not good. Can I choose D? So you understand the pressure that's mounting in the child. And then there are external factors which add up to it. So what happens when a person or anybody is stressed out is that the cortisol levels in the body, that is a stress level, stress hormone, is on a rise. This is a very good hormone because it helps you or it helps the person to cope up with the stress, to deal with the stress. But if it is persistent and if it is on a high for a very long period of time, then it starts making changes in your body functioning. It causes problems in the body functioning. And that's the time we say that the person is having a dis-ease. That is, the mind is not at ease, and therefore the body is throwing symptoms, and we label it as being dis-ease, not at ease. But most of the times what happens is we don't want to go and tap what is the core problem. We see the disease, we label it very conveniently, and as I have labeled it here, and we give medications, we try to push down the symptoms, and we are fine. The child is fine, he has no symptoms right now, he is not troubling me right now, so it's okay. But there is an underlying problem still lingering down. And this can be seen through repeated episodes of the same problem, through going into chronic illnesses, which shouldn't be happening at this age, unless there are hereditary factors. But still, there is an age limit for all illnesses. So we need to cross-check with our children as to what is going wrong. If we want to put an end or put a break in this vicious cycle, we have to do it in a certain way. And how do we do it? By providing safety nets to our child. And how do we do it? We can do it at 3 levels. First, very important, again, I am stressing upon, is the family, which is the primary unit. The mother and father, very important people in the child's life. And both of them, it's not only the mother, it is also the father who plays a very important role in the child's life. It's not only providing security in forms of our basic necessities, but also psychologically helping the child to grow. Second is the institution, the college, where the child is going through. So here we have counselors who are there. I am there who's associated to SFIT. So you can take the help of the counselor to bring some kind of relief to your child, or if there is a problem in decision making, also you can seek some help from the college. The other area is the friends. Now, friends can also play a very important role in guiding, provided they are of a good support structure to the child and not taking him the wrong way. And most important is the connection between the home and the family. Now, this is where, again, you as parents have a major role to play. Because we at the college, we have limited access to your child. Probably it's only during college hours. But you know who is your child? How is your child? Is this behavior abnormal since a few days? Am I seeing a slight change in my child? Is it only related to the growth? Is it only related to developmental changes? How is he progressing, or how is he able to cope up with the developmental changes? Is something that you have to analyze. And you can always tell the child, listen, my child, you can go and speak to the counselor. Probably she will give you some help. Okay, so when you give a support and you give a backing, the child will come and speak. Because, my dear parents, even today, counseling is taken as a taboo, which, very sad to say, it shouldn't be. When you go to a counselor, it is not because you have a psychological problem or you are mentally not sound or there's something wrong with you. No. Maybe those could be one of the reasons, but you are also going to a counselor to get some kind of clarity in your thinking. Always remember, when there is another person's point of view in your opinion, suppose you're taking a decision, but if you see it from a wider perspective, when you see it from different people's points of view, you get different options. And that is what counseling is about. I was happy to see that, many of you have filled the form, the questionnaire that I have given, okay, before the webinar. And that was precisely for you to understand where you stand in providing these safety nets for your children. And when I say safety nets, here I focused on two areas. One was providing a secure environment to the child, and one was providing a growth-filled environment to the child. And these pictures, what I want you to see here, my dear parents, is the expression, the facial expressions of the family members. In the first picture, the facial expressions. And that is exactly what our children want to see on our faces. It happens even with my children, because sometimes you're so caught up with so many other things. And right now in this lockdown, I understand, because we are trying to juggle between too many roles and in the same environment, very difficult. So the child senses it. He senses it. Okay, my mother is not very relaxed now. I don't think I should be telling her this problem. Let it be. I will see later. So, I know it's difficult, but what we can do is keep some time out only for playful activities with the child, if possible, or some activities where your child likes it and you like it. What happens is, when you and the child are both in a relaxed state, the child is able to communicate with you better. He's able to share with you all his emotions better. And that's what we want, to have a very healthy relationship, right? And this is, of course, a growth-filled environment. So whatever actions the child does, he always wants to know, what is my parent thinking about me? So if you're there, giving that full support, he's very happy. So going to the next slide. Now this is, how do we achieve this kind of environment, this secure environment and this growth-filled environment? I know we all have been attending parenting sessions, and it is like the same thing going on and on. Believe me, when I was preparing for this presentation, I said, my gosh, I think these parents have heard so much about all these things. Wouldn't it be boring for them? But then I realized, because when I was preparing for this webinar, it gave me so many insights in different ways. So I felt, maybe, even though we have heard right from pregnancy, we have been attending pregnancies, parenting sessions. When our children were toddlers, we have attended. When they were in school, we have attended PTA meetings. We have heard so much that what this parent has to do and what is, so that your child is able to grow better and flourish and accomplish and all these things. But I will take this opportunity again to revise with you, so that it brings you a much more clearer picture in today's scenario when your child is grown up as a young adult. So going through it quickly, the first C is to connect. Now I'll tell you just a small example, okay? अभी हम लोग बच्चों को मतलब सिक्योर एनवायरनमेंट कैसे प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं? पहली जो है कनेक्ट मतलब जुड़ना, बच्चों के साथ अच्छी तरह से अपना रिलेशनशिप बढ़ाना. मैं छोटी सी एग्जांपल देती हूँ. समझो आप टीचर हो, ओके, स्कूल में या कॉलेज में, और आप एक लेक्चर प्रिपेयर करके जाते हो प्रेजेंट करने के लिए, पर समझो वो बच्चा या बच्चे आपसे कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं, उनको वो अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है, और वो लोग डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाते हैं, सीखते कुछ नहीं है, तो आपको बहुत परेशानी होती है. आप जाते हो वापस. अभी आप क्या करोगे? कुछ अलग से टेक्निक आप यूज करोगे जिससे उनका इंटरेस्ट और ज्यादा हो वो टॉपिक पे. क्योंकि आपको सिखाने का है और बच्चे को कुछ गेन करने का है आपसे, आपके लेक्चर से। सो आप वो थोड़े कोशिश करेंगे तो वो बहुत अच्छी बात है। वैसे ही कोशिश हमें अपने बच्चों के साथ करना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये जनरेशन जो है वो थोड़ी सी अलग है, अपने से थोड़ी सी अलग है। तो वो गैप जो है हम लोग क्या भर सकते हैं? कुछ भी एक्टिविटी हो, या खेलने का हो, या एक्सरसाइज करने का हो, या कुछ भी एक्टिविटी जो बच्चे को अच्छा लगता है और आपको अच्छा लगता है, वो एक्टिविटी करो आप। पेंटिंग हो, ड्राइंग हो, जो साथ में कर सकते हैं, तो उससे आपका रिलेशनशिप बढ़ सकता है बच्चों के साथ। Second is communicating. Communication should be free flowing. Communication should be such a way, my dear friends, that a child should feel that he's coming as a friend and telling you all his problems without any hesitation, without you being judgmental, without you criticizing and ridiculing him, and knowing very well that you will not discuss his problems with anybody else. Very important, because the child wants to develop that trust in you. And only if he develops that trust in you as a parent in the family, he will be able to have trust-related relationships or trust-filled relationships with people outside. You as a parent should be able to listen to him as a friend without advising, without interrupting, and as a parent guide him if you feel he is making the wrong decision. So speak to him, discuss with him, communicate. Okay, very important. Sorry. The next C is chores. Now, this is what even Brother Jose, our director, very well put in, that, some of the 8th standard or 8th grade girls did not know to tie laces. Very true. A Harvard Grant study, has shown, this is the longest study that they have conducted, a 75 years study, starting from 1938. And they have said that if the child, is made to do household jobs, household chores at a very young age, and even later, he is able to progress very well in his professional life. And to add to this, there is an author, Haim, who has written How to Raise an Adult Child. And she too adds up to this by saying that roll up a sleeve and a pitch-in mindset is what we need to inculcate in our children. And what does that mean? It means that if there is a problem somewhere, if there is something undone, who is going to do it? I should be doing it. I'm not going to wait for someone. Why not me? I will take up that step and do it myself. And this is what helps that individual to do very well in his workplace. This kind of initiativeness. And that is what we have also seen in that newspaper clipping, which Principal Ma'am showed us, that children are taking initiatives. It's very good. It's very good. Parents, you are doing a very good job. But for those who are not yet started or who find it difficult to tell their children, please inculcate it right now. It's never too late. You can start it even now because it's going to take them a long way. And the study further says that if you want to be happy as a young adult, there are two factors which are responsible for your happiness and successful behavior. Is love. First is love, which you get from family first, and work ethics. And when I say work ethics, it's precisely this what we are talking about. So encourage your children to help you in household activities. And also what happens is sometimes we feel that they're going to just waste my time because I have to redo all this and I don't have the time for all that. It happens with me. It does happen with me. But then I become aware, no, that they too need to learn. They need to gain that experience as to how are they going to do things in their life so that confidently when they're out, they can go and do it without any hesitation. So please encourage them. The other C is critical thinking. Very important again. Why? Because most of the times, okay, we go on to giving directions to our children. It's like a checklist childhood. Have you done this? Don't do that. It's not good for you. You don't know. You're a child. You obey me. And we try to make them miss perfect, picture perfect, pruning them constantly like a bonsai tree. And there are problems also later on. I told you, you can correlate to the stressors that the teen or the young adult goes through. With perfection, it has to be perfect. I have to look perfect. I am not saying 1 + 1 is 2, but these factors could have an impact on the child. So let that child grow and blossom. Let him have a self-made guided checklist, self-made by him, guided by you as a parent. So that, you know, they are wild flowers in the open and you can guide them by letting them take their own decisions, if possible, and also by guiding them. Let them make mistakes, learn from their mistakes, so that, you know, later on in life, they are able to develop their problem-solving skills. And they are much better, or in a much better position when faced with difficult situations. And lastly, we come to complement. Now, when I say complement, is whatever qualities your children have, learn from them. Learn the know-hows of the new techniques, the new technology. This is a simple example. We all are aware, you know, that they are digital natives. They are the millennials, because Instagram and Twitter came along with them. So there's nothing wrong in sharing our information, taking help from them, because they know how to do things very swiftly. If you want to form a profile on LinkedIn, please take their help, because now it's all going to be a virtual world. And this, what they are going to get from you is that boost, that support, which if you do not give them, they will be getting from somewhere else, from somewhere out. And most likely it would be good, but sometimes there could be a negative repercussion to that. So we don't want that. Let them get it from a secure environment. Let them get it from you, so that tomorrow they are proud and they know that it is because of you that they are what they are. And they form that relation and that bonding with you. So help them develop their self-esteem and in turn their self-confidence. So here we will take a short break. So if there are any questions that I could answer at this point of time. Deepa?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Let me begin by saying that our audience has not only heard the C's, but they have actually started practicing that with us, because I can see they're connecting with us, they're communicating with us as well. So I have lots of comments coming in that parents have mentioned that they found the session as very informative, knowledgeable. And if I may read out one of the compliments given by the parents, because it would mean a lot to the entire SFIT family. Mr.
Yes.
Rishikesh Sonar has mentioned, congratulations SFIT for such useful and guiding webinar. We parents have full faith in the management and its activities for well-being of our students.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, ma'am, there's one question.
Yeah. Yes.
One parent has mentioned that how can a child interact with the parent if they haven't really communicated well directly before?
Okay. So probably as a child, you have not formed that rapport with the child, okay, during his childhood days. That's fine. There's no problem. Because you know what, parenting is a learning experience every day. What technique you must have used, you know, 2 days back or even some time back, probably you'll have to change it. Every minute, every second, you have to change your parenting techniques to meet that of the child. So it's never too late. You can always start, as I said, doing some activities with the child, which the child is, likes, or some exercises. Now we have so many videos. So we as a family also do it with my children, and it is a very good thing. So you can do that. You can spend time with them, quality time. You can tell them that, you can be more open to them and confide in them and tell them, yes, maybe with my busy schedule, I was not able to give you that time, but now I am going to make an extra effort, and we will keep some time, from your routine where we both are going to sit and we are going to speak to each other. Maybe, normal topics, general topics, maybe politics, maybe whatever is the current scenario, you can start with that. Probably your child will not be very comfortable or not be very open in speaking to you about his emotions, but you can give him or her that space and that time. So first, open up yourself and talk to that child.
Then there's also one thing. Certain things, it seems, which we consider important, our children may have a different point of view. So one parent has asked, what if my child is depressed with the attendance required in the college? How to handle that issue?
Okay, so first, there are two different questions. She said about certain things which are important to them and not important to us. What I understand is that attendance is important to us and we know the reason, and probably the child doesn't understand. But now, having done it and having said that, he feels that he has not completed his attendance and due to which he's depressed. Okay, if I have got it right. So what I feel is you have to sit with the child and explain to him. Before explaining him, listen to him, what he wants to say. Why is it that he is bunking lectures? There could be many reasons. One thing, it could be friends. Second thing, it could be he's not interested. Third thing, he feels there are better options available outside than this. So in terms of career, in terms of, just whiling away time also. So it's very important to know what is his agenda. And through that, you are helping him to also think for himself. You can always tell him, see, it is your choice. This is my perception. It is your choice. And you have to, take some decision. You can always tell me what you have in mind. We will see the pros and cons. So slowly you have to discuss that issue with him and get him into understanding what is your thinking. Get him into understanding what is your thinking. Because I said they have this identity crisis at this point of time. And they feel. Give me two more questions and then we begin.
Sure, ma'am. There's a question by one of the faculties. As a mentor or a faculty, how to reduce students' anxiety and motivate them for positive thinking?
Okay, so as a mentor and a faculty, I think I know it's difficult that each one of you to make that time with the teaching and your assignments. It's difficult to spend time. The most important thing I would say is to spend time with the student on a one-to-one basis. Sometimes it's not possible. Another thing that we could work upon is forming small groups within among the students itself. Now if you have a batch of 20, okay, so you can have 5 students and one person responsible for those 5 students. One of the student who's responsible for those 5. Like that you can make 4 groups, and the student who also is one of the 5. Okay, so then that can be rotated. You can have rotation in that. What happens is the students are very comfortable in speaking to their batchmates rather than coming and speaking to you. Now in your group you could have 5 representatives, so you have 4 groups. You have 4 representatives who can come and then share with you that so and so in my group, so and so has a problem and so has a difficulty. So then we can work it out at that level. So that way you too as a mentor is getting enough of time and getting enough of information. And this would help you probably to also be able to guide them and to mentor them properly. You said about motivation. The only thing I could think of is, I think the college is doing it, is having many extracurricular activities where the child is motivated. You can always appreciate the child for what he or she is doing. Okay, so first appreciate, and then you can tell them if there is a problem somewhere, and they can rectify that problem. So start with an appreciation, and the most important is to help them to build their self-esteem. So giving good opinions about them. So first, always start with giving a good opinion, and then you can, if you want them to change their behavior, help them how you can give them ways in how they can help themselves in changing their behavior.
Ma'am, one question is that what signs should a parent look for to understand if the child does require counseling?
Okay, that's very good question, because most of the times we sort of ignore it, saying as it's a very common thing. And so the first thing is any behavioral changes in your child. For example, today the child has done his routine things, got up at the same time, done all his routine activities. Tomorrow, he got up late. He doesn't feel like going to college. The day after, also, he is not getting up on time. He doesn't feel like going to college. He's not coming to eat. So probably first the physical, you can note the physical changes, that is your sleep, your appetite, your daily routine activities have changed, of the child have changed. Secondly, the emotions in terms of doesn't want to talk to anyone, or a withdrawn attitude, or a lot of anger suddenly, a lot of aggression, just gives back, okay, without any reason. And he has not been that kind of child. He has always been a very, a very polite child and a very socially abiding child. But now he is behaving like this. And if it is continuing for a little prolonged period of time, say 2-3 days, then first you can always speak to the child, ask him that this is what we have noticed, okay? Is there a problem? Is there something that's bothering you? Do you want me to speak to anyone? Is there some bullying going on in college? So you give him options also, because sometimes the child is not able to point out to options. Okay, he's just feeling like that, but he cannot say why is it happening in his life. Okay, so that is one thing. So physical, and secondly is your emotional changes, if you can pinpoint. If you are not able to do so, thirdly, also you can also speak to the college, the faculty. Is my child attending college? If you feel that he's not his normal self, you can also find out at the academic level how is he performing? Is he doing well? Is he attending college, or is he bunking college? Again, so that should be a red alert. So you need to know. So during that time, where is he going? See, it's not like spying on your child, but you're just helping him, to come out. If there is something wrong or something going on in his life, and he feels that he can do it all, he can solve it, but he's not able to solve it. He's not able to come and tell you also that I need some help from you. So you have to assess it.
Yes, ma'am. As of now, I believe that's the questions we got.
Okay.
Maybe we can take a few later.
Yeah, we can go ahead then.
Kevin, sir, shall we go ahead?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. We can go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so here is where we had stopped. Okay, so again recapitulating the full thing that we have done. Okay, हम लोग ने देखा है कि बच्चों में थोड़ा मतलब बर्ताव में कुछ परिवर्तन आते हैं, तभी हम लोग को हम लोग के ध्यान में आने चाहिए जो भी उनके मतलब फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज है, कुछ चेंज है, तो हम लोग को थोड़ा ये होना चाहिए, अलर्ट होना चाहिए, और बच्चे के साथ बातचीत करके उनको पूछ के मतलब क्या प्रॉब्लम है, उनका कुछ सोल्यूशन मिल सकता है क्या, अगर समझो आपकी कोशिश नाकामयाब हो जाती है तो आप कॉलेज से भी हेल्प ले सकते हैं, काउंसलर्स रहते हैं। ओके, अभी बच्चे हमेशा, हम सब के बच्चे यूनिक रहते हैं, अलग रहते हैं। जो पेरेंटिंग टेक्निक्स हम लोग सिखाते हैं या इवन ये वेबिनार से हम आपको कुछ पेरेंटिंग टेक्निक्स कुछ सीखने को मिलते हैं, पर आपके बच्चे में आप क्या अडेप्ट कर सकते हैं, क्या यूज कर सकते हैं, वो बच्चे बच्चे में अलग रहता है। जो मेरे बच्चे के ऊपर यूज कर सकती हूँ वो आपके बच्चे पे आप यूज नहीं कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि आपके बच्चे अलग हैं। तो आपके बच्चे पे आप क्या यूज कर सकते हो वो आपको देखना पड़ेगा। So in simple words, parents, it is whatever input you get, maybe from sessions, maybe from internet, maybe from colleagues, maybe from talking to parents of your child's peer group, whatever said and done, what applies to my child doesn't apply to your child. Just in the same way as a double XL dress size will not fit a person who needs an L size. Okay, so simple as that. So please try, we need to try and make it very tailor made. And that is the secret of parenting. So it has to be unique for your child. And how do we make that? How do we help in making that? Is by knowing ourselves first as parents. That is our role, that is our job. And then we will be able to know who is our child, who is a different individual, an entity by himself. Okay, so we will go now still further. Before that, I want you all to just grab a paper and a pen or a pencil if you can, please, because I just want to do a simple, a short exercise with you all, which will help you or give you a better insight into what I am going to speak about. Okay, so first and foremost, okay, you all have filled the questionnaire. I want you to write on that piece of paper which you have, and if you can do it individually, it will be appreciated. It will help you, benefit you better than doing it as a couple. So first and foremost, write what is that safety net that you're providing to your child. Now going back to the questionnaire, which category do you fit in? Is it a secure environment, insecure environment, or a threatened environment? And in a growth-filled environment, whether it is growth-filled, is it stagnating, or is it demotivating? So where do you see yourself as of now? Now, I want you to go one step ahead. This is understanding yourself, okay? So please be open. I do not know who's writing what answer, and I am not interested. It is only for your insight, for your journey inwards, okay? And so if you are true to yourself, this will help you, okay? So we will go with it. I want you to write in the chat box, okay? What are the areas that are troublesome or are causing some kind of stress in your life? Those areas which are hovering over you all the time and probably not allowing you to move ahead in your relationships with people. For example, if I could give you job-related insecurities, financial insecurities, okay, so something on those lines. So areas in your life which are causing a stress. So you can put it in the chat box. Deepa, ma'am, you can give it to me and I will fill it and write it on the screen for the benefit of all. Deepa, you're with me, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, right here.
Are you getting some input or?
Waiting for responses, ma'am.
Not yet.
Maybe we could repeat the instructions for them once again.
Okay. So as parents, if you all could, take part in this exercise. See, it's very easy for me to jot down what are the areas. I'm doing it. I'm going to say we are doing it with clients every day. But if it comes from you and you are able to recognize it in yourselves, in your everyday lives, what are the areas that could possibly be a reason of stress in your life? We are not talking about the child. We are talking about you as an individual. Not seeing you as a parent also, as an individual, what are the areas that could cause a problem or you feel is causing a stress in your life?
We got financial security,
Okay.
demands on one's time,
Okay.
job security,
Okay.
hectic workload,
Okay. So job.
children's future,
Okay.
okay, we got children's future and planning for the future overall,
Okay. Yeah.
job related problems due to lockdown,
Okay.
time for child in a busy schedule,
Okay.
efficiency in communication, okay, child demands, family pressure,
Hmm.
anxiety for small issues,
Okay.
okay, colleagues pressure,
Okay. Okay, so I can just add a few to this. Okay. So we've got financial strain, we got time constraint, job related issues, okay, thinking of the future, so pressures from colleagues, also our own ego problems, our own backlog or the baggage of unresolved issues in our lives, single parents managing all the areas in their life, health issues, okay, to name some of you, health issues, ailing parents at home, and or health issues of your own self, okay. So these could be a few areas that could cause a stress in your life. Now, if you can go a step further, tell me what are the emotions that these cause. Now, these are the areas, okay, these are physical areas. What is it causing in you? What is the emotional stress? Is it causing anger? Is it causing depression? Is it causing frustration, guilt? What is it causing in your life? Okay, to just name a few, if you can put in the chat box, I will fill this column. So one I've got is anxiety.
there's irritation mentioned, ma'am,
Okay. Okay.
We may take maybe pressure because a parent has written children's demands to meet. So probably
Okay.
the emotion
So feeling
pressure is
pressure,
what
okay.
anger and guilt.
Yeah.
We have frustration being mentioned here.
Mm. Okay, so we can go from this. Okay, we can take this and move ahead. I will also add sadness. Okay, depressed feeling.
Somebody
Okay.
mentioned insecurity.
Yeah, insecurity. So feeling quite insecure. Okay, now I want you to just see what happens. Now we can see this is the emotional turmoil that probably all of us in some way are going through. Maybe not all these areas, but one of this that's causing a problem in our life and one of these feelings that's hovering over us. Now this emotional turmoil comes in the form of a parental barrier of not knowing yourself because you are not getting a chance to know yourself better because of this, not accepting yourself because of all the negativity within you. You can't see who you are as a positive person, and you're not able to love yourself, and you're not able to accept yourself as who you are. When this happens, okay, the next step which follows is that you are not able to accept and understand another human being who is entrusted in your care. And since we are talking about parenting, that another human being is your own child. So your children are not your children, but they come through you. They are a life in itself, wanting to express itself. So now you can interrelate the identity formation. He wants to be a different person. You have to accept him with his weaknesses and his strength and not force your values or your teachings on him, but let it come from him. Let him see it on with you. You're practicing it and he will learn from you. Okay, so once we love ourselves as individuals, we break this barrier. We are able to deal with our children in a much better way. Now all said and done, so much of talking and talking, and we found out our emotions and we saw which is the area that is causing us stress. But can we do anything about it? Dear parents, can we do anything about it? Or is just like, it's a part of me, I have to go with it. You know, there is no solution to it. No, there is a solution. We are human beings and we have a very beautiful gift given to us by God. That's the functioning of our brain. And we have to be thankful for that, because this in technical language is called neural plasticity, which means that the brain has the capacity to undo all the negative or all the wrong behaviors that you have already learned, and to also relearn the good things that you want the brain to learn. You want those changes to happen in your life. The brain is with you. He's saying, you go ahead, I am there with you. But you have to first realize it. So this property of neural plasticity gives you this process, and this helps you to make the changes in your life. So we'll see how we can do that. Okay, so how do we break this barrier? Through ACT. Now what is ACT? A stands for accept the change that is needed. C stands for connect with yourself. That's what we did, where I told you on a very, a not very professional, you can say, but a very, a small idea of how you can do it with your life. So connecting with yourself, because sometimes we don't know how to connect with ourselves. It's like, what do you mean by connect with yourself? So this is what I mean. What is the area that is affecting you? And probably yoga, meditation, these are ways that you can get to yourself better, to know yourself better. Okay? So that is the first step I feel towards parenting, of knowing yourself, accepting yourself, and then you can accept your child. So connect with yourself. And the third is therapy through the right channels. Now, here again, if the time permits, I would like to do a small exercise with you all. If you are ready for it, you can put a yes in the chat box. If it's too much, then we will end the session here. Deepa, do we have the time? Do we take it or?
Kevin, sir?
Ma'am, you can take it, no problem.
We can take it, okay. Okay, so I will go with it. I want you all to take a very relaxing posture wherever you're seated. Please take an upright posture, be relaxed. I want you to close your eyes. It will just take you 5 to 10 minutes. Close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Forget all that we have right now spoken about. I don't want anything in your mind right now. Just listen to the instructions given and follow it. Don't even try to analyze it. Just follow the instructions and do what is said. Continue to take deep breaths. We will take us one example or one case study, okay? Your son or daughter, okay, we say son, comes to you after completing 4 years of engineering, or your daughter comes to you after completion of her engineering. He or she wants to have a startup business. He comes to you, Dad, I don't want to work under somebody. I just want to start something of my own. You do not allow him to complete the sentence and you get upset. You speak out to him saying, you younger generation, just do not value the money, the time. You just don't want to work under somebody. You have your own views, your own rules and regulations. I don't know what happens when it comes to working for someone. You will get a pay scale. You will have something very secured, but you come up with stupid ideas. Okay? I will make it short. I'm not going too long into it. Now, what has happened in your past? Okay? You have had an experience with your friend who also had taken a similar step years ago when you were in college, and he had asked his father and father gave him the money. He wasted the money. He ruined his life. He went into addictions and severe depression. This is the experience that has triggered in your mind. The other probability could be that you are of an old school of thought. You want things to be done in a very particular manner. Things have to be secured. Security is first. Family comes first. They have to get bread and butter every day. I cannot risk it. I am very cautious. 2 things, 2 probabilities could be there. And you react on those probabilities. Now, I want you to be there with that situation. But I want you to change your thinking pattern. I want you to hold your child's hand. Imagine that, visualize that in front of you right now. Hold your child's hand and sit. Hold your child's hand and sit with him or her. And you're going to lower your tone of voice and you're going to speak to him or her. You're going to ask him, what are the different options? Have you tried out? Have you checked out? Have you got proper information? What is it that you want to do? Do you know the pros and cons of this particular field, or this, or this, or this? If you want to start with A, can I get enough people whom you can speak to and get proper information? If you want to go with B, can I get somebody to help you out with it? What is the finance that is required? Is it possible that we can work it out? Is it possible that you can get some loan? See, now slowly you are trying to have a discussion with your child. And you are not just pushing him away. Because when you push him away, you are trying to tell him that I am not with you. And mind you, that child, given the current scenario, would do whatever he wants to do without informing him. Could be. Or could do what you want to do, but with a lot of resentment, with a lot of anger in his mind. And that is going to take him the wrong way, or is going to have a lot of ill feelings about himself. But if you do it positively, he's going to get a boost. He's going to say, yes, my father is there with me. I am going to make an extra effort to see that this works out. And I'm going to put in extra effort. I'm going to find out everything I can to make this work. Now you see the difference. Now slowly you can also speak to him. Once you have formed that relation, you can tell him that these were my fears. These were my experiences of the past. So this doesn't demotivate him, but it helps him to also know that there could be a fallback. There could be a slip back. There could be a failure, but I'm ready for it. I am more prepared for it. Okay, so now you see the difference. So this is a small exercise, my friends. You can open your eyes. But what I wanted to tell you is that it's not possible or feasible for us to always go to a counselor, or we don't have the time to do so. But these are small things that we can work with ourselves to have a better living for our own selves and to be able to have an insightful journey of parenting with our children. A small story that I would like to end with, okay, a short story. It's about two farmers, A and B. Okay, both of them found baby eagles who were injured in their farm. So both of them took those baby eagles in their poultry and they nursed them and they kept them in the poultry. Now farmer A, okay, was a different kind of a person. He felt that this is a baby eagle, right? So when this baby eagle grew into a teenager eagle, he took this teenager eagle at the top of the mountain and said, soar high, teenager eagle, there is where you belong. You do not belong here on this ground. And this teenager eagle was very anxious because she has never flown high up in the sky. But because of that support, because of that boost, she just went. She took that first step and lo, she did not return back. And she was happy because she was with her kind. But farmer B kept this teenager eagle in the poultry farm, okay? And the mother hen and the father hen kept on telling him that, look, you are born on this earth, you will die here and you will live here. And you will not get grains on top. The ones who are on top are the queens of the sky. But you will never fly. You have to be here. So this is a short story, my dear friends. So can we provide that secure environment to that child? And can we provide that growth-filled environment to the child to see that our children turn back and say, thank you, mom and dad. What I am today is because of you. So I will end with Barbara Johnson's words that if you want to be in the memories of your children later in life, you have to be in their lives today. And of course, not forgetting the mantras which our director, Brother Jose, has very rightly put in. It makes a big difference by saying those mantras. It's just not for the sake of saying it, but feel it and say it every day and let your child say it with you, however big or small he or she is. So all the best and thank you for your patient listening.
Okay, ma'am, shall we take a few questions now?
Yes.
Okay, we have a parent who's written, The fifth C that you mentioned,
Yes.
that is the compliment, is exactly where we get disconnected. Could you discuss a bit more on that?
Okay, I'll give you a small example, okay, which happened to me, and that's how I chose this. I always take things what have made a difference in my life. Okay, this is a conversation with my mother. Okay, so some days back there was some incident on the, on our WhatsApp family groups or whatever. So she said to me, she called me up and she said, should I take a step? Should I, do this? So I told her, no, don't do this, but work it out this way. I feel this is a better option, mom. So she said, okay, let's try it out. So she did that. After a few days, she calls me up back and she says, Merle, you are good because it worked, So, and then it struck me that, wow, we are really complementing each other to have a very healthy relationship among each other. So these are small things, my dear parents. It's just, a statement that you can say, wow, thanks a lot, because she said it to me and it made a big difference to me. And that's why I put this point of compliment, because usually we do not do that. Another example, with my daughter. So, small things that she will bring to my notice. And since with all this lockdown, there are so many things that we are trying to juggle with, we do not see those small things. And so when she brought it to my notice, I said, wow, how could you see that? So that makes a difference with the child. Taking technology, for example, they are very good at it. I'm really telling you, they're very good at it. Please take their help. Let them feel that they're doing something good. Other example, involve them. They are young adults. Involve them in family matters. Okay, talk to them about finances. How are you dealing with it? See, earlier, it was a different scenario. Our parents used to discuss everything and keep it under wraps. And it was okay with us. We were not so much, with identity and with external pressures and this and that. But now it is a big thing in their life. So I feel we need to make them aware what we are going through. What is the sacrifices that we are doing it? Not in a way to put them down, not in a way to demotivate them, or not in a way to bring it out when they are angry or we are angry, that we have spent so much on you. So they can turn around and say, but I did not tell you to spend so much on me. So you understand. So put it in a nice way. Discuss with them. They want you to make them a part of your lives. And that is how we hesitate. We try to say, they are children, they don't understand. They are always children for us. At whatever age it is, they are always children for us. So I hope I could give you some guidelines on that.
Ma'am, the next question is, how do we help promote a child's participation in extracurricular activities without disturbing academics?
Okay. So first and foremost is extracurricular activities which you want him to do or which the child wants to do. Very important. Okay. Because if the child is taking the decision to do it, then he will try to fit it in his routine. He will try to fit it in his timetable. Secondly is make a timetable for the child. It's very important. Okay. When I say certain things of do's and don'ts, there are very thin lines where you have to limit yourself. Now, so when I say discipline, it is not like being authoritarian. It is not like being a dictator. No, you have to do, or these are the consequences. No. But let him assess for himself. So make him, let it be a routine. Let it be a disciplined way of life. So fit in. Is it fitting in it? By, and giving you that time, are you getting enough of time even for your education, even for your studies? Because that too is important. You cannot let the grades fall. Okay. So with the grades being good, are you able to give time? Then it's very good, because that helps them to even remember. It helps them to improve their imagination skills, helps them to improve their memory. So extracurricular activities are good. Depends on which extracurricular activities you're doing, whether the child likes it, and how is he able to incorporate. So make a timetable, sit down with the child and ask him how we can fit it in. So always take the help of the child. Let it be a discussion. Don't let it be a forced advice.
Okay, ma'am. Since we are short on time and there are too many
Okay.
academic questions asked as well, I would like to take
Okay.
up a few academic questions.
Okay, okay. And the rest can be even sent to me on my email, so I can
Yes,
answer
ma'am.
them.
I'm sharing that information with them so we can address all the questions that were raised.
Okay, so I will sign off, okay? Thank you, Deepa, ma'am. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. We all loved the session. I've got lots
Thank
of compliments falling in.
Thank you to you too.
You're welcome, ma'am. Now for the academic questions that have been raised.